Here comes your winning formula, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery for your 10-2 Vikings. Taking to the road for the first time in quite some time, they play the Detroit Lions. This Sunday, you can listen to the game on KFAN. Pete Bercich is the analyst on the KFAN Vikings radio network. Gabe Henderson is our statistician and spotter on the road, also with the Vikings Entertainment Network. And I'm Paul Allen. Let's begin here with Pete. The winning formula for slowing the super talented Amon-Ra St. Brown, who Kevin O'Connell says now is like running deep routes, which wasn't the case last year, and just overall this Red Hot Lions offense.
Yeah, what's going to require is it's going to require all three phases, Paul, and the Lions offense is good enough now to earn that type of respect, meaning this. Offensively, we've got to dominate the time of possession. We got to keep that offense off the field. Special teams, we've got to make Detroit go the long field. Jacksonville, first possession, fumble the ball. Detroit recovers on their own 38. Boom, 7-0 lead right off the bat. So you win the turnover battles. You've got to play the field position bit. Getting after Goff is going to be tough. The offensive line is good. I mean, if we can get a pressure on him, four-man, just not necessarily sack him, but just make him uncomfortable. And if we can do that, stay on top of that five-man passing game, they get five guys out in routes. It's a unique offense. It's a very good offense. And Jared Goff, he executes this thing very well. So I think it's going to be all hands on deck to slow down this Detroit Lion offense.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I also agree that, when you get to facing Amon-Ra St. Brown, when he is in the slot, you have to press man him. That means it's going to take a lot more effort, coverage, pressure from our nickel cornerback, Chandon Sullivan, to be in his face. He's not good in space, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not good when somebody is right in his face. So bracket your coverage, do different things in coverage to make him think, and then when you get from there, that's when you have opportunities to get to the quarterback. When Jared Goff has been sacked, which is the least amount in the NFL, you look at that and say, okay, what are we doing on our defensive front to put pressure in his face? Start pressing those receivers, start making Jared Goff think a little bit more, and that's when you'll get to the quarterback. So Chandon Sullivan got to have a big game on Sunday.
Well, this doesn't. This has the makings to not be a football game, but to be a street fight. I mean, with Chandon Sullivan opposite Amon-Ra St. Brown inside, I love it. Jeffrey Okudah, this physical corner for the Lions, week number 3. I mean, he was just all over JJ at the line of scrimmage. And Jefferson finished 3 catches, 14 yards. And with all due respect to one of my favorite players, was impacted by the way Okudah was playing him. So, Gabe, what's the winning formula to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, I think first and foremost, one thing that we did not move Justin Jefferson around last time. Justin Jefferson was very stationary. And when Justin is stationary on the ball, on the line of scrimmage, that gives Jeff Okudah opportunities to just man-to-man against him. Send Justin Jefferson in motion, line him up off the ball, give him different looks. If Jeff Okudah wants to follow Justin Jefferson, that fits in our favor because JJ, like a lot of DBs have done, they've started to press him. They make him work a little bit more off the line of scrimmage, which in this case, move him around, give him different opportunities, different looks, and I think JJ will go for maybe even 14 catches, not 14 yards on Sunday.
Pete, you played with Randy Moss when Randy came into the game in 1998, and the reason I compare those two is because it seems like every week Justin is breaking a Randy Moss-related record. Now, I know Randy is thicker and bigger than Justin, but did Randy face that at the line?
Yeah, he did. I mean, everybody tried everything to to stop Randy Moss. In fact, it got to the point where Scott Linehan would say, watching film and breaking down the coverages from an opposing defense became useless because they changed everything just to stop Randy. And the thing with Randy is I go back to that Thanksgiving Day game in '98. He had 3 catches, but all 3 were touchdowns. He was the quickest way to beat a team.
Yeah.
So defenses did everything to keep him in front, and they still had a hard time doing it.
And Justin's the same way.
Yeah, I mean, JJ he's not the deep threat, but he does everything else. I mean, in some of those catches, it wasn't a big box score day for him against the Jets, but some of those catches, the hits he took, he's a tough receiver. So I agree. You just got to keep getting him the football in those tight spots.
Bold prediction time, and Gabe, you and I, Pete gets this from you and I, some covenant claps here. His bold prediction last week, he predicted Harrison Smith would have his 5th interception, and he did. So what are you going to do for an encore?
Well, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to leave you hanging. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, well, he went to Notre Dame, he went to Liberty. I thought it was some like class envy thing.
This is a tough one. But my bold prediction is going to be this: that the Vikings wide receivers will draw at least 3 penalties from the defensive backs from Detroit. Either
like
and I'm talking
PI?
holding, PI, and illegal contact. These guys are grabby. They do that. They're grabby. I think they're taught to do that. And I think the officials now, we weren't getting these calls earlier. And I remember that was a big thing in the first game, was just how much and how grabby they were. If we start getting those calls, and I bet we can get 3, that's going to change the game. It's going to move the football, and it's going to be a big thing. But I really believe we're going to challenge them that way.
Oruwariye in that first game, week 3. Now, he didn't play last week, but him on Thielen in that game. Remember that? That's right. Great recall. What about you, G?
Yeah, and they also got 7 defensive pass interferences, 4th most in the NFL. So
Wow.
I like your prediction. Mine says Dalvin Cook will pass Chuck Foreman for the 3rd most yards in franchise history.
So forget Bill Brown in 4th. He's going to zip by Chuck.
All he needs is 141 yards.
Ooh.
He'll get one.
My bold prediction has a Motor City theme to it. You know, TJ Hawkinson, tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, he played for the Detroit Lions just this year. So there's going to be a lot of attention on the tight end TJ Hawkinson. Kirk Cousins is a Holland, Michigan native. So, of course, he wants to come back with family and friends. Went to Michigan State, East Lansing, go crazy. And he's going to want to show out well in front of them. KJ Osborne, Ypsilanti, Michigan native. Don't forget about the cold-blooded Cane. He's going to have his first game of his career with at least 100 receiving yards. Let's go, KJ. And let's win a division this weekend. If the Vikings win, they win the NFC North. And they really debilitate and dash these Detroit Dreams because they're suddenly surging. For Gabe Henderson and Pete Bercich, I'm Paul Allen. This is a Curly Harris production. It's Winning Formula, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.